Well, hi, Sullen family and friends. I'm Denise with Artists at Heart Paint Party, and I'm so blessed to be here today with you to celebrate Christmas. And I am thrilled that you guys are going to create Rudolph with me. Anything that I do, you can change. I always start with a sloppy copy. So if you have practice paper and a pencil, that's great. If you don't want to and you just want to jump right into the good one, that's also great. So again, practice, you can just watch if you want to. It gives you an idea of what I'm going to do. So let's get started. I'm going to use black marker. Don't you use black marker. I want you to use pencil. The only reason why I'm using black marker is so you can see it on the screen. So I'm going to start with the oval nose right in the middle. So whatever size paper or canvas you're using, start in the middle. And I'm going to create Rudolph's nose, and I'm going to create it in an oval shape. That gives you an idea of placement. So whatever size you're using. And then I'm going to do his eyes. So I'm going to do an arch and an arch and then a baby circle and a baby circle. Yours can be smaller, bigger, up to you. All right, let's see what else we're going to do. How about this arch of his head? Like that. And then I'm going to create another oval, but it's going to come off like where his nose is, like this. And around. And back up. Oops, I went down too far here. And that's why we practice. So see, now if you guys are using a pencil, and look at how lopsided it is. It kind of looks like a UFO, doesn't it? His face looks like a UFO. Okay, that is why we practice. So if you have a pencil, you can erase it. I'm just going to leave it alone because it's my sloppy copy. And now I know when I do the good one, I have to stand a little bit in front so it's not so lopsided. But that's what makes it fun. And makes it your own. So it kind of looks like he's smirking since he's not balanced and symmetrical. He's a little lopsided, so it looks like he's like, you know. All right, let's do the ears. So I'm going to do this and this. Have you been seeing a lot of deers in the yard? Deer. Deer. There's his flappy little ears. You could see for my stuffed animal too. I have a stuffed Rudolph and my painting Rudolph. Let's do the antlers. So let's start right here and go up and around. Up and around. I hope you guys are listening to Christmas music. I was going to put some Christmas music on, and I'm like, well, I don't want to make you listen to what I want to listen to, and you don't want to hear me sing. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. Okay, no, you don't want to hear me sing. So let's go put some lights on there. Do you have to have lights? No, you don't have to have lights. You could have a little bell. See my little bell? Or you could have candy canes or nothing at all. Totally up to you guys. The lights add some fun colors. Let's do his arms. I don't know. Are they called arms on deer? I don't think so. Paws? Then we'll do the fence, but it's not going to be too straight because there's going to be like snow on top of it. So he's like climbing over the fence. And if you want, you could put the little nail dot there. And if you want, you could put some trees. So look, I have done this painting and practiced several times, and I still made a mistake. So if yours does not look like mine, it's fine. If yours looks like a bunny or a puppy or a UFO, it's fine. So again, that's why we practice. And the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. It's like anything else. Cooking or yoga or working out or math and reading, the more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it. So now I'm gonna go to my canvas. Again, I'm going to draw with black marker. I want you to use a pencil. So I know the black marker is bold and people love to jump into the black paint, but use black last because it gets into everything and it ruins the colors because it gets accidentally mixed into it. So let's start again with the center, roughly in the center. We're not going to measure. Put that ruler away. No rulers. And then let's start with the arched eye. Another arched eye. A baby circle, baby circle. And the nice thing here is you guys can pause it. So I do so many of these live, and everyone works at a different pace. No matter how old you are, no matter if you're a boy or a girl, man or a woman, everyone works at a different pace. So the nice thing about having the recording is you can pause it if I'm going too fast for you. So here we go with this part. We got to make him smile. He has got to be smiling, right? It's Christmas. Maybe he's a little tired. Remember Rudolph's little girlfriend, Clarice? Maybe you do too. Maybe you have Rudolph and Clarice. I think that was her name, if I'm not mistaken. These look really cute displayed together. And this is something you guys could put the year on the front or on the back of it and display it every year. It could be and maybe you guys make it a tradition and do this every year. But they look super cute when they're together because everyone's going to look different. So I love to say that the way you create, draw, paint, it's like your handwriting. So it doesn't look like your handwriting. It just looks different than everybody else's. So again, when you guys learn the ABCs and your teacher taught you the ABCs, you could tell they were the ABCs and you copied the ABCs, but they look like your ABCs. They don't look like your friend next to you's ABCs. So that's the same thing with art. It's going to look like yours in your style. Even if you've never painted before, you have a style. The way you hold your whatever tool it is, a marker. You guys can use markers, crayons, colored pencils. You don't have to paint, but I love to paint. I think it's really relaxing. The hard part is just letting go of worrying about what it's going to look like. It's more about the process than the product, which means it's more about just relaxing and having fun and laughing and being silly. Those are the little nails in the wood. Let's give them some lights. You could put the little baby lights on with the colors, with the white lights. You could do the background black if you want to and make it nighttime. So just remember, if you change something, I want you to think about what the brown would look like of the reindeer on the color of the background. So if you wanted to do a background that was black at nighttime, you'd have to make a really nice light brown. So just think about it when you do it. All right, so how about if we start with the light brown? So I'm going to do this part here, and if you don't have light brown, add some white to it. Mine was pretty dark, so I just mixed some white in. If you want, just to make it a pretty brown, you can add a little bit of yellow or a little bit of orange to it, but you don't have to. But you could just make it tan with some brown and some white. So I'm going to do his belly here. And I'm going to paint right over the line. Now, if you don't like the color, I'm going to dip my brush. I don't even wash it off. I just dipped it right in white. I'm going to mix it right on there. So maybe you like it better lighter. That's what it looks like, a little bit lighter. So there's nothing wrong with experimenting. And I love to see brush strokes. If you're seeing the white texture of the canvas, you need more paint, unless you like that. If you like that look, that's fine. I love to see the brush strokes. And then this part, I'm going to paint right over the mouth. This part's going to be that same light brown. And again, I added some white to it. So I'm going to see the difference. So this one's the darker. And then all I did was put a little bit of white on my brush and mix it right on here. I like it lighter. I think it looks cute. So again, I took some brown, some yellow, some orange, some white. I made like a tan. Maybe you have tan. I love those little bottles that come in, you know, like a 20 pack, those little acrylic bottles, because they have every color in it. Kaden and Corey and Christian, how you doing? How's it coming? Is it looking like Rudolph? I'm going to do the inside of the ear. Tim, come on. Keep going. You got this. And Amanda, we know, Amanda, yours looks perfect. Do you guys know I used to teach with Amanda? I say, Amanda, to me, you're always like perfectly everything. Your makeup, your hair, you always look so good. I'm disheveled. I try, but I always look a mess. I have paint on my face, on my hands, on my clothes. One day. And that's a compliment. I see all your pictures, and your whole family is very well put together. Maybe you guys can give me some tips on how to stay neat and orderly. Those are not my strengths. So yeah, that's about all the places that I'm going to use. And you can see that the light brown that I made is not exactly the same, and that's okay. And I actually think it looks cool when I mix it on there, and you can see a little bit of light brown and dark brown, so it's not all flat, but you can make it flat as well. Flat meaning like one color. If I want, I could put like some of the dark in here just to give it, see, you could see. So now it's a little bit dark. Maya and Zoe, how you doing? I bet you they look great. I can't wait to see pictures. I know you're going to send me pictures. Darlene, keep going. How's Darlene doing? Caleb's like, I'm done. Let's keep going. Come on. Now, the body, I forgot to put the line here. So let's draw a line here. This is like the hoof, right? So let's just do almost like a U. And so this one's going to be just a little bit browner. And then the fence could be a little bit lighter brown. So we have a lot of different browns in here. Let's see how this brown is. That looks like a good brown. So again, it could be right out of the bottle. You could add a little bit of orange to it, a little bit of white to it. And I bet you the kids know this. When you mix all the colors together, you get brown. So whenever I do a class, I always tell them if we're not saving the paint, they can mix all the paint colors together and they're going to get like a nice Lake Erie brown. I love acrylic paint because it's opaque, which means you can't see through it. It's non-toxic. It washes out fairly easy. If you do get it on fabric or something, wash it out today. But if you leave it till tomorrow, 24 hours or more, it'll set and stain. So if you get it anywhere that's like fabric or your clothes, wash it out within 24 hours. And I'm going to make the ears and the face, the top part, that same brown. Nikki and Dominic, how are you doing? Don't compare yours to mine. It's going to look like yours. It's not going to look like mine. And you can always do it again tomorrow or the next day. You can do a whole family of them. You can make a series of your own. Do one every day and see if they get better. You could do Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid and Donner and Blitzen. Did I repeat that? Do you recall? I told you you did not want to hear me sing. The most famous reindeer of all. But that would be cute to do all of them. Shonda, how's it coming? Alea, looks good. Barb and Rich, I remember you when you used to come to Warner and help out. And Barb were Facebook friends. And maybe the brown that you use for the antlers is a dark brown. Maybe it's the brown right out of the bottle. Remember, you don't want it to be so dark, like that's pretty dark. It's a dark brown, but I want to make sure I do it light enough that my black will show up on top of it. I think so. So it's like a dark chocolate brown. Or maybe your wire for your lights is white. That would show up really nice. That's called contrast. So if you want it to show up really, really well, it has to have good contrast. So black on dark brown, you could see on my sample, you could see it kind of disappears a little bit on the black on the brown. Doesn't show up as well. So you can change the color if you guys have silver. That would be pretty to make a silver cord for your lights. Oh, I forgot to shut my ringer off. Oh my God, that scared me. Choo choo. Oops, look at, I went out of the line right there. Okay, see what happens. So let me teach you guys something. I don't know if I have any idea. Okay, so if you make a mistake, now let's say it's wet. Your paint is wet and it's not dry yet. If you make a mistake like I just did, you actually can take a corner of a paper towel, wet it, and just carefully wipe it off. It's like an eraser, but it only works if it's still wet. And that's what happens when you don't shut your ringer off. And I really do like focus so much when I'm creating, so I'm focused and then I just jump. So it's not like there's a train coming through the house. The Polar Express. Polar Express. I love that movie. Did you guys do the Polar Express in the Cuyahoga Valley when you were little? That was so fun with hot cocoa. Love doing that. And then, so I have to tell you, I have not washed my brush off one time because I just went to different browns of different values. So if you do wash off your brush, make sure you dry it off on your paper towel. This is a paint you don't want to be watery. You want it to be pretty thick and opaque. So if you do wash it off, that's fine. Just dry it off on a paper towel. And again, I'm still not going to wash it off because I'm using another brown. I'm going to go to the fence. So what kind of brown could I use on that fence to make it different? Well, I could go dark brown with the antlers, but again, the hooves are black. So you don't want to do straight dark brown on the fence. And just so you guys know, that's just a reflection. It's just a reflection from the window. So I want my brown to be not too dark because I want the hooves to show up. And I'm going to use vertical brush strokes like that, but that's too dark. So I'm just going to put a little white in there. And that's going to blend in too much with the other brown. So maybe I touch my red. Let's come up. Let's make a color together. Now it's going to look purpley, huh? Almost like a maroon. So I love mixing colors. How fun is this? I'm going to go right over my line. So that is too red. So it doesn't mean I made a mistake. I'm going to put a little bit more brown in there. Mix it in there. I'm going to touch some orange. Mix it in there. Let's see what kind of cool color we can make. So remember, we're making a brown that's different than the others. It could be close. It could be similar. We want to give it like a wood texture. So I'm going to do vertical. That's vertical. Put a little more white in there. Isn't that fun mixing color? I know you could do it all day long, right? Now, if you do make a mistake and it gets dry, you can always paint over it. So that's the part I love about acrylic paint is you can paint over any mistake, or even tomorrow, if you wanted, while it's dry, if you wanted to add more stuff to it tomorrow, you can. I add to my paintings all the time. You can wait for it to dry and then outline it with a black Sharpie, which is fine too. It's hard to outline with black just to stay that steady. Did my phone scare you too? So I just scooped up a little more white and put it in there. See how cool that looks like when you mix some white, but you can see the brush strokes. So that's a value. That's just a lighter version of the color by mixing the white in. It's called a tint, T-I-N-T, when you mix white in a color. So you guys keep seeing me go over it a little bit. I'm gonna put a little bit more white on my brush. And look, you could do some vertical lines just like that to give it, again, a little bit of a wood look. So vertical lines. I didn't wash off my brush. I just added some white to the color that's on there. Now, watch this. The more I go over it, the more it's going to turn into one color. So if you like those streaky white lines, go over it a little bit and then leave it alone. Okay, because again, the more you go over it, the more you're going to lose all that texture. You want to keep it there. If you want that look. And I just got it in his hoof. I'm not going to worry about it. You know why? I'm not even going to try to wipe it off because it's going to be black, which is going to cover that. So it doesn't matter. I still haven't added the black. So when I do the darker color later, I can add some more black to that, but I don't want to touch it yet. I know you guys are ready to jump into that black. Some people don't listen to me and just go ahead and jump into it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it alone for right now. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Again, we'll go back into it with more details later. All right, how about green? Do you guys have green? Oh, I forgot green. I'm going to make green. How do you make green? Oh, you are right. I heard Shauna say it. Shauna, did you say yellow and blue? Was that you? So yellow and blue. Make green. You could put a little white in it if you wanted a softer green. And then this part here, I'm going to only come down to about that part far because of the snow. And actually, I didn't mix it all the way, so you can see it looks pretty cool because it's a combination of the yellow and the blue, not mixed very well together. And you could do dark green, bright green, neon green. So obviously this one that I'm doing is brighter than my other one. You can make your tree go right off this edge of the page. You can make your tree go right to Rudolph so it looks like he's standing in front of the woods. I'm not too detail oriented on the edges because I'm going to do the background blue. Let's jump to the nose before we do the blue. Oh, you know you want to do that red nose. So wash off your brush, dry it off, or get a new brush. Dry it off on a paper towel and paint Rudolph's nose. And then when you're done, you can wash it off and dry it off. And then because really, if you want to add the red lights, you could do that, but I want to do that later. So there's the red nose. So you can save that or you can wash it off and just set it aside. Or if you're using the same brush, it's fine too. Because I'm going to do the background blue before I do the lights. Because I know how I am, and I'm going to bump into all those colors, and then we'll get in my blue background. So you guys pick a blue that you like. And again, look at the white. I think the white looks pretty nice too. If you want to make it a winter wonderland and leave it white, you can do that. You can make it black. You could do it bright blue. So I have a pretty bright light blue here. You could do the background purple. You could do it yellow. It does not have to be blue. I'm just trying to give you ideas. Now, if you want to put everybody's together, that would be cute if everybody had a different color background. Everybody took a different color. Someone did orange, someone did yellow, someone did blue. That would be cute. Or if you guys all did the same color background and then they all fit together, like one big artwork, that would be cool too. You could put stars on the trees. You could decorate the trees. You could have little circles for ornaments. Maybe you have presents. Maybe there's presents down here. How's it coming? I think they look great. Look at the personality all of your reindeer have. Everybody's looks different, and that's amazing. So if I had used my black, I know I would have bumped into it and it would have been in my colors. I already bumped into my brown. So say I just bumped into my brown, I'm just kind of mixing it in there. No one knows. Shh, don't tell anybody. It's a secret. Because you know what? No one knows your mistakes, but whoever you tell. No one knows, oh, you didn't mean to do that. Like, oh, that looks so good. Oh, thanks. No, it's a mistake, but no one knows, really. So keep going. Darlene, yours is looking good. Coming along. Coming along. And see where I got this brown smudge here? So if I wait for it to dry, which I didn't wait, it's still pretty wet, I can go over it again to cover that. Plus I could cover it with some snow, which I'm gonna do. All right, now you guys can jump into the black. And if you have a tiny little brush, use a tiny little brush. And if you don't, that's okay. Wash off your brush and dry it off. And go slow when you use the black. Go slow. I don't want it to get into all your other colors. You can also use a black marker if you wait for your paint to dry. You don't have to keep up with me. You can pause it. Let's do the other hoof. Oh, you guys, I was not paying attention and I colored the little white triangle thing in, the reflection. So I made a mistake. What could I do? This involves patience. Now, all I have to do is wait for it to dry and then I can paint a white triangle over that. That's the really nice part about acrylic paint, is that I can paint white over black. You can't do that with watercolor paint. All right, maybe I was making my Christmas list in my head. Things to do. So really when you're painting, you're practicing mindfulness, unless you start to daydream and then look, oops, it happens, you guys. Okay, I'm going to do the eye. So now I'm going to really focus and I'm going to leave that little white circle there. Again, if I forget or I mess up and I fill it in, we can add it later. We just have to be patient. Yes, art, it involves patience. Everything in life involves patience. All right, let's remember again. And if you end up coloring that white circle in, that's okay. We'll fill it in later. It really doesn't take long to dry. So acrylic paint dries pretty quick depending on the moisture in the air. So if you're running your heat at home, it's pretty dry air. So the paint dries really, really quick. The more humid it is, the longer it takes to dry. So now let's put those lines in the fence. And you don't have to, but let's say, let's start in the middle so it ends up being pretty balanced. So let's just do a vertical line. And I'll do another vertical line right here. Do another vertical line right here. It's not even a solid line. Do another one right here. So you can see I didn't even make it solid. See that? And I could put the little nail mark. Now the little nail, well, let's do some streaks first. So maybe I take some of this black and I do some like vertical brush strokes. I add a little bit of white to it. Maybe I'll mix the black in with a little bit of brown, and let's see if I like it. So you can watch mine first to see if you like it or not. Because I want my, lines to show up, my crack of my lines. I like it better just the brown. So now I'm just gonna, that's always fun to experiment. I'm just gonna cover it back up. You make your fronts however you want. I just like playing and concocting. And so I'm using vertical brush strokes. Just so it looks like wood, like the grain of the wood. And make sure whatever you're doing, whatever colors, it doesn't match the reindeer. You want it to look different than the reindeer. It's always fun experimenting, and you just have to not worry about it. Don't be afraid of it, because if you do something that you don't like, again, you can fix it later. It's not like, oh, when I'm done, you have to be done. You can work on it again later. You can work on it tomorrow. You could take a break and come back to it. That always helps. Take a little break. Because when you're sitting in front of your painting for an hour, I think an hour at a time is enough to sit there and paint. So I try not to go over that. Don't forget, we got to go back to that little triangle. My black's still pretty wet, and so is my brown, but let's try. Again, you guys, if you did what I did, you can wait, but I'm going to put that little triangle back in there with some white paint. And it's going to turn gray because I'm not being patient, but I want to do it while you're on the camera. And the same goes with the eyes. So if you guys ended up painting that in, just go back and put some white in there. Now, if you want to add snow, here's how I like to do my snow. You can take the handle of the paintbrush and dip it in the white paint, and you'll get these nice little white dots. Dot, dot, dot. Now, don't make it look like a pattern. So right now it looks like a pattern. Snow is scattered. So you want to randomly put it so it doesn't look too perfect. And you don't even have to do snow if you don't want to. Oh, you know what I forgot too? I forgot the lights. Oh, yay. Let's do the lights after the snow. How can we forget the lights? Now, again, if you want to do a bell, you could do a bell. If you don't want to do lights because you're having a meltdown, no one. You guys are having a great time. All those cookies. Who's had too much sugar? No one? I have. I've had too much sugar. Okay, now let's do the lights. So you can wait for it to dry or use the smallest brush you have, and you have to go slow. And you can do it silver, you can do it gold would be pretty. And you're gonna do a little black line. And it's like wrapping around the antlers. Some areas it can go over it, and some areas it can go under it. Doesn't matter which one. Something else you can do, if you want to, I've seen people do, they put the lights around the edge. So if you want to create a border, you could put lights all the way around, or you can also hang lights on the fence. That would be cute too. Should we try that? Make it different? So you can make snow, you guys. You can make your snow come down here, or I think we should try lights. What do you think? So let's do this. Something like that. And then we could add the little colored lights. We'll see. Let's see how it looks. You put a little red light here. And you could do a pattern on the lights. You could do red, yellow, orange. You could do purple. I didn't use orange on my other one, so I'm going to do orange on this one. Maybe red, yellow, and orange. And they could be coming off, or they could be right on the antler. Let's see. Let's do, or maybe this is like greenery, like holly or pine. Let's see. Let's try what it looks like with the light. You like the light? I kind of like the lights down there in the fence. Tim, were you on your house hanging lights? Or did Amanda do it? Or both of you guys did it together? Teamwork, teamwork. All right, let's put another red one right here. And if you want, again, if you want to put stars on there, you guys think outside the box. You could do a moon in the sky. It's totally up to you. But keep creating. Think outside the box. Add whatever you want to. Change it up however you want to. Have fun. Be kind. I'm so blessed that I was able to spend this special day with you guys. And God bless you. Thank you. Keep creating.